90% of drugs that enter clinical trials fail before they ever reach the market. Think about that number. 90% in the world of high-stake research. That is a staggering gap between a lab breakthrough and a real-world cure. When a doctor hands you a prescription today, they are giving you the result of a 100-year-old safety filter. A filter that is built on the idea that if a medicine doesn't kill a rabbit or a dog, it is safe enough to move into human testing. But here's the truth. Medicine did not become trustworthy because of compassion. It became trustworthy through a brutal cold obsession with evidence. If you are a life science student, you have been taught the what of animal testing, but you haven't been taught the why, the historical desperation that forced us into the system. We are moving from an era of proxies, guessing based on the other species, to an era of precision. And to understand where we are going, we have to go back to a time when medicine was nothing but guesswork and fear. Mapping the human body was the first obsession, and the pioneer here wasn't a doctor, it was Leonardo da Vinci. At a time when it was social taboo, he dissected over 30 human cadavers to map the truth under the skin. His drawings of the heart were not just art, they were the first true anatomical records. But he hit a wall. A dead heart doesn't beat. In the 1600s, William Harvey broke through by studying living systems, proving blood circulates and changing medicine from a philosophy to physiology. Then came the killers, smallpox and rabies. Edward Jenner used the cowpox virus as a living proxy to save millions, giving the word vaccine. Later in 1885, Louis Pasteur saved a young boy named Joseph Meister from rabies using a vaccine perfected in rabbits and dogs. That moment proved a scientific sequence. Prove it in a living model first, then and only then touch a human life. But this wasn't a scientific preference. It became global legal mandate. Following the 1937 elixir sulfonamide tragedy, where an untested solvent killed over 100 people. In 1938, FDA&C Act made safety testing mandatory. Later, the Nuremberg Code, born from the horrors of Nazi experiments, solidified the ethical requirements. Human trial must be grounded in the prior animal data. Animal testing became the mandatory ethical and legal guardrail of civilization. But then, animal testing moved from the lab to your bathroom cabinet. Every morning, you pick up a shampoo or a moisturizer. You assume it's safe. But for decades, that safety was verified by a Drey's test, developed in 1944. It involved applying chemicals to the eyes of conscious rabbits to check the irritation. Why? Because the industry was terrified of liability. For a long time, the rabbit was the only proof we had to satisfy regulators. But in 1980s, the world started pushing back. The cruelty-free movement, led by activists like Henry Spira, challenged giants like Revlon to find alternatives. This public pressure forced the industry to look for a third way, not just because of ethics, but because we realized that rabbits are not humans. We finally admitted a scientific truth. A drug can be safe for a dog and lethal for a human. We need the zero choice era is dead. Today, we aren't guessing, we are modeling. Imagine a story where we don't need a living body to predict a human reaction. If you want a career in the next decade of life sciences, you have to master the 4 pillars of precision. Think of it like this. Instead of starting with a rat, we start with a human cell model. We use high throughput screening to test 10,000 compounds at once. It's fast, it's efficient, and it tells us about the truth about human toxicity on day one. But we have gone further. We are now growing organoids. Imagine taking a few stem cells and growing a 3D mini liver or a mini gut that actually functions like yours. We are finally testing drugs on human architect, not a different species. Then we take those organs and put them on a microchip. This is the organ on chip technology, a biologic flight simulator. We can watch exactly how a lung on a chip reacts to a new asthma drug in real time. Finally, we have the pattern architect AI. It defines patterns in human data that we missed for decades. Regulators have officially recognized this shift. The FDA Modernized Act 2.0 was a landmark. It explicitly says animal testing is no longer the only way to get a drug to human trials. Now, this is a massive topic. These interventions are changing the world so fast that they deserve their own spotlight. We will be making a separate video in the future detailing everything you need to know about these new inventions, from bioprinting to virtual patients. So, where does this leave us? Animal testing was the backbone of medicine for 100 years. We owe our current lifespan to that system. But the old ways are no longer fast enough or accurate enough for the challenges of today. We are moving from sacrificing life to using intelligence to protect life. If you are a graduate today, don't just look for job handling samples. Become a translational architecture. The person who knows how to use AI, organoids, and human models to bridge the gap between lab and a life saved. At CliniLaunch, we are actively integrating these AI and advanced research models into our curriculum. We are not just teaching you history, we are training you for the future of work. I want to hear from you. Look at the Indian R&D sector. Are we ready to lead this transition? Or are we playing catch up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's start the conversation.
Visit us today, www.clinilaunchresearch.in.